I've never had the pleasure. I don't meet all the biggies like you do. I don't get to meet them.
This is Don Lane, John.
Good to meet you, Don.
A pleasure.
Good to be here.
Oh, this has got to be an absolute shock for you, having something like this just hit you right between the eyes.
Yes, well, we knew the situation was bad, a bad, dry summer, but nothing as bad as this did we expect. It's the most devastating series of fires I think we've had in our history.
What are your first thoughts when you hear about something like this? I mean, when you know that it starts saying, I'm sure your intuition must have told you this could be bad or could move on to be bad.
Well, it grew in severity last night. By early this morning it was apparent it was very bad. And I went out about 7 this morning, and for the next 3.5 or 4 hours I travelled through the hills, partly...
How do you travel through there?
By helicopter, and we came down at Cockatoo. We then went out to down to Lawn.
They tell me Cockatoo's totally wiped out, is that right?
Nothing at Cockatoo, it's gone. Upper Beaconsfield, 80% devastated. And Aries Inlet's the same, nothing there at all, 4 or 5 houses remaining. Anglesey, the skirts mainly. But people are just stunned, and I think we all were when we saw the extent of it. First thoughts as to the help that can be given to those people who are without homes. We've got that in hand now, I think. We've got provision for immediate accommodation for the relief that's needed at once.
Do you have any numbers at hand? I mean, just figures of like people, how many people are homeless, how many homes have been destroyed? Are those kind of figures delivered to you?
The figure we're given is up 2,000 homes.
2,000 homes?
2,000 homes.
Possibly more, John.
Oh.
And the last figure of fatalities, some 43 dead. And there's some, I think, 300,000 hectares of land have been devastated.
John, could you just, for our interstate viewers, explain what you as a government have done so far?
Well, we've put in train the well-rehearsed disaster plan that's there.
There is one there. Do you have to?
Yes, there's one.
Do you have to formulate this, or is this passed down?
It's a standing plan that's there that brings together the various emergency relief resources that are available to the state. It brings together also the Commonwealth Government. They come in at a certain stage, and last night we got help from the Army in certain areas, and again today it was thought that was necessary in some areas. So it's been a very bad day for Victoria, Don.
You eventually, I suppose, in a situation like this, Bert, and I only thought about this today, you eventually run out of people to call on help for. I mean, who else? There's nothing else you can do. Your fire department has been totally depleted. You call on the military to come in and help you, but where the heck else do you go after that? There's no place to look, is there?
When you consider too, Don, I think at around about 8 o'clock, 8:30 last night, I heard a call, and 2,000 police alone were in one area in the Dandenongs. Now, when you consider I mean, look at this audience here. It's a big television audience, but it's what, 250 people?
About
300, say. Yeah. But think of 2,000, and they're just in one area of looking after things.
What it does do, it brings people together, and the help comes from so many quarters. I mean, we've had today calls from large numbers of firms want to help, contributing. Other governments, state governments, all state governments have offered to contribute. Trade unions, the ACTU, voluntary labour provided. So everybody, every section of the community comes out and gives of its best. And the Victorians have responded today as you'd expect they would. And the generosity is coming as you see. And my congratulations and thanks to Channel 9 and all those associated for what they've put into this appeal tonight.
Well, we appreciate the fact that you're doing it, but you're doing a lot more than we could do. I'll tell you, I wouldn't have your job for quids at the moment.
It's a joint effort of everybody.
Yes.
I should mention too, John, of course, this telecast is going across to Adelaide,
yes,
and
right.
they are in dire straits.
Spoken to John Bannon 2 or 3 times today, and they've got great difficulties too.
Yes. He seems very cool under fire. So do you. It's good to see people with that sort of control. There isn't a great deal of panic, but we got to
He
do
also
the
looks
chance.
very young. How old is he?
John's about 40, I think. About your age, Bert.
I tell you what, he looks good for he looks better than me.
We have to take a break, and we have another gentleman coming out here. You'll sit with us for a couple of minutes, will you?
I'll be happy
Okay,
to.
we'll be back after this break with... I've
got a total for you, which is going to please you. The total on the board at the moment is $967,556.
We are close to the million.
Very close to $1 million smackers. I should mention that includes the $400,000 announced this evening by the Prime Minister, and also Launceston have done a magnificent job. Launceston and Tassie have raised for us $102,000.